This mother and son were attending a wedding, but were being hunted by a killer. The mother, Julie, was very calm. The killer was lurking in a high place, using a sniper rifle. They had to lower their heads as much as possible, avoid the vital parts of the body, and then count how many shots the other party fired.
That's 5. He's reloading. Go, go!
Edward didn't understand why his mother was so calm when she was shot, and even dared to stick her head out to check the killer's specific location. What he didn't know was that Julie was actually a killer too. Before taking action to solve this trouble, she had to ensure Edward's safety first. Although full of doubts, Edward still followed his mother's instructions. After ensuring Edward's safety, Julie immediately took action. The killer was hiding in the mountains, and she didn't have any suitable long-range weapons. She could only find cover and move slowly, so she had to find a car. While the killer was reloading, Julie quickly rushed to a corpse and desperately searched for the car keys on the body. Fortunately, the man was strong enough to help block all the bullets. Julie once again took advantage of the killer's reloading and quickly got into the car and turned the key. The killer's shooting skills were obviously not top-notch, and he was not good at aiming at moving targets. But as Julie's car sped towards him, the closer the distance, the higher the chance of hitting. Julie was knocked unconscious by the violent collision. The killer also understood the importance of finishing off the opponent, so he immediately abandoned his sniper rifle, took out his pistol, and approached cautiously. But he was still too young. Julie had been a killer for more than 30 years, and she relied on more than just luck. With the killer's death, Julie felt no joy in her heart. Looking at Edward's puzzled eyes, she didn't want to explain anymore. The most urgent thing was to escape first. Julie understood the rules of the killer organization. Once a killer's mission failed, it would inevitably attract more killers. At the same time, the scene at the foot of the mountain had become a veritable bloody wedding. Just as everyone was comforting each other, several men in black suddenly walked into the venue, claiming to be from Interpol. They wanted to know if there was a British woman present. The old man was a little surprised. He had just called the police, but they arrived so quickly.
Show me your ID again.
Gunshots were heard again in the venue, and the guests who had just survived the disaster were massacred again. Amid screams, the killer helped an old man up and asked again, "Where is the British woman?" The old man pointed at the small house on the mountain with trembling hands, hoping that the other party would spare his life, but the only response he got was a gunshot. In fact, whether the killer retires has always been a mystery, because no one has ever lived to retire, but Julie is an exception. In order to let Edward grow up safely, Julie, as a mother, worked hard for 30 years and finally saved enough money for retirement. But like other fatherless children, Edward has been looking for his biological father since he grew up. This time, he finally plucked up the courage, hoping to find some clues from his mother. But Julie didn't want to talk about the past anymore. In fact, the reason why Edward wanted to know who his biological father was because he had a girlfriend and was about to get married, so he hoped to get his parents' blessings at the wedding. Julie was a little surprised to hear this, but she still refused to mention that man. As they were talking, the phone in the house rang. It turned out that the assassin organization had assigned her a mission. Julie didn't want to agree, but the other party made a condition that she couldn't refuse.
And you're happy, are you? Doing nothing? Being no one? Triple.
How is it?
It just so happened that her son was about to get married, and as a mother, Julie wanted to save more money for him. At night, she opened the secret compartment under the bed and took out her sniper rifle. This time, the target is a yacht on the sea. Julie can easily complete the task by simply pulling the trigger. But for some reason, she always felt something was wrong, especially the voice issuing the task on the phone, which seemed to have a different tone from before. She immediately dialed the number again, but unexpectedly, the other party did not deny it. The killer was just a chess piece, so why ask who was playing chess? Julie finally gave up the mission. She didn't expect that the organization would do such a thing and directly send a killer to kill her. But as a woman, she could work in the killer industry until retirement. Julie relied on her brain.
Who the hell are they?
Just hold on!
You said...
Hold on like you're 10!
They are now on an isolated island. It is definitely unrealistic to escape. However, all the residents on the island have died in the wedding. Where can they get a boat? Speaking of boats, Julie suddenly remembered the yacht last night, which was their only hope of escape. After riding the motorcycle to the shore, Julie said nothing, took off her shoes and jumped into the sea. Edward had no choice but to jump in. Just half an hour later, the woman on the yacht was suddenly shocked to find a familiar face outside the window. As for why she said familiar, Edward had to explain.
Mum, this is Kayla, my fiancée. Kayla, this is my mum.
Hi. Hi!